I think ignorance is probably one of my superpowers. I've always been a huge believer of future you. I'm working incredibly hard to be great. And I think people who set out with a plan just to be a success, I want to be a success, miss the point. Because you're trying to go from like step 1 to step 10. When if you focus on just being great at what you do, you're going to be so great that everyone else has to notice. Right? The success is going to come by default. Right? It's like if you take care of the work, the work is going to take care of you. Yeah. Write it down. And that is now your vision board. Put it in your phone. It's now in your pocket. It's attached to you. The electronic signals in your phone, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, everything. If you do the work, you will become that person before those 2 years are up. But I always want to do as much as I can with the life that I have. And I know too that the busier that I am, the more of a tornado that I create, the more busy I will be, to the point where like you'll be too busy to fail. Right?
Because you're moving. You're moving. You're trying things.
Like you're in constant motion. Like a river is going to make its way to the ocean,
right?
Unless something stops it,
right?
So if I'm moving as fast as I can, eventually I'll make my way to the ocean, and the ocean is, amazing success, whatever that might be for you,
right?
And so I just keep things in motion, and you figure it out. It's like what you learn in improv classes. You say yes and yes and okay. We want to start our own company in the middle of COVID. Yep, and go. I think ignorance is probably one of my superpowers. I do not overanalyze, right? Analysis paralysis is like one of my bigger fears. And I watch people set up office and overanalyze everything all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to be you. I'd rather make mistakes and learn from them really fast than try to get a win here and then really think about the next one and then get another win there. Right? Like one of my favorite quotes is, I'd rather regret the things I did than the things I never tried. There are things that you can learn to improve your life. Like I think investing into yourself makes so much common sense, and no one does it. No one does it. No one does it. So sales training is a big thing for us. Improv is a big thing for us.
Really?
I don't work for me today. I work for me tomorrow. Like today, I just turned 38. Ryan at 40 is my boss. That guy's life better be awesome, because if it's not, he's going to be pissed. And I don't want, and he's worse than my boss. I have to be that guy. Like, if you piss off your boss, all right, great. I get to go home. At least I'm not you. But if I piss off my future self, I got to eventually grow up to be you. And that sucks. So I better not piss you off. And so I focus on future you all the time, right? And thinking about the future and making sure that I'm enjoying the day and smelling the roses on the journey, but focusing on where I want to get to instead of where I've been. I think I'm very aggressive, very relentless with what I want, and I go after it for the most part, right? I'm not great at taking no for an answer. I don't get down on myself. I paint a very clear picture of what I want and how I want to get it, and I make sure that we make it happen in some way, shape, or form. Now, it's not always going to happen the way you think it will. For example, I moved to New York to get on TV. And I did it for a second in a soap opera until they killed me and I got fired. And then I had to go become a realtor to pay the bills. The worst thing ever. Who would ever want to become a realtor? But I kept that in the back of my mind that one day I told myself, I want to be on TV. There's a casting call for a TV show based on real estate agents. Okay, this is weird. All right, but I know how to do the audition. I know how to be on camera. Let me go figure this out. And then there you go. Right? Because I never lost sight of kind of the goal. Right? It's like you want to have firm goals and soft plans, because the plans can change all the time. COVID could hit, like anything. You can meet a new person that changes how you're going to get to that goal, but you want to pick those firm goals and know where you're getting. And I think a lot of people don't actually set real goals and dreams for themselves, or they do it and it's unrealistic. If I just try to be someone that everyone likes, I'm going to be someone that no one gives a shit about.
Right.
So I have my niche, I carved my niche, and I want to be everything to some people.
Yeah.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to use those minutes to make up for whatever negative feeling, and use those negative feelings as fire. Don't ignore them. right? And so I think I use those 1,000 minutes incredibly well, especially with budgeting time. Like I'm very, very budgeted. I think sometimes to a fault, because sometimes I probably don't leave enough time to just let things breathe. Like I don't have a whole lot of white space in my calendar, but it also means that I get done in a day what most people probably do in 3. And then I can move much faster, so that yes, I do a lot now, and yes, days might be stressful now, but it's like that age-old entrepreneurial saying of, I would much rather live my current days now like most people won't, so I can live the rest of my life as future Ryan like most people can't. I even write down in my phone who I am in 2 years all the time, and I switch it up all the time. Like who I'm going to be in 2 years. What do I look like? What am I wearing that day? Right. And it's a good exercise for people to do. I meet with young salespeople all the time, and they don't know where they want to go or what they want to do. I'm like, your perfect world, realistically though, who are you today? Like what time is it right now? Today it's 4:55 p.m., right? We're in New York City. This time, 2 years from now on this date, where are you? What are you doing? Once you understand that sales is all perspective, all empathy, then comes into like vocal inflection. You know how many people I meet who can't go into like their upper register to be excited and then can't talk slowly when people are upset.
Yeah.
They have like their one note all the time, and they understand, and they're so confused why they don't do business, right? They don't understand how to make eye contact. They don't understand body language. They don't understand what their core identity is. LeBron James practices 90% of the year and then is in games 10% of the year.
Right.
But salespeople, and most people honestly, are in games 98% of the year.
Yeah.
And then they practice 2% of the year, but only when they have to, only for licensure, only for code. I've always pushed myself into financial corners to force myself to become future me a lot faster. It's like when I bought my first apartment, like I was like, I don't want to pay rent anymore, and I'm a real estate broker. I should probably own something, right? I think that's a good thing. And my budget, I was like, maybe, all right, like $1 million, like $1.5 million. And then I saw this penthouse apartment in Soho that was awesome, and it was $4 million. And I was like, I don't think I should do that. It's like, maybe there's a way I could figure out how to do it. And so I bought it for 3.6. I remember my parents were like devastated. And you're like, are you gonna go bankrupt? You have to move home. And now it's just one of my rental properties, right? And I had the same fear when I bought my townhouse and then renovated it. And now I'm like, because you just keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself and pushing yourself to become the person you want to be, versus waiting for that person to show up, in which case it's never going to happen. And then one day you wake up, you're old, and then life is over.